going on, everyone? Welcome to Bruce and Stephanie Comics. And guys, we got an amazing interview for you guys. With me, I don't know what I was going to say.
You guys are getting interviewed too, so I hope you have your questions filled out.
It's not comics and beer, but it's not a Bruce and Stephanie show if I am not at least drinking a beer. So I got my Blue Point Toaster Lager all up, ready to go. And guys, we are going to be interviewing Joe Mulvey and Rich Douek. These are two great guys that created the amazing comic, The Wailing Blade. We get turned on to these guys by our good friend David Andre. We picked up these books. We read them. There is a trade paperback that is being kickstarted right now. But I don't want to talk about this. I want to let Rich and Joe do it.
Wait, before we rush to that, guys, I'm trying to post something on Instagram to let you mofos know who aren't on here yet. But also, for some reason, Google isn't remembering my Twitter login, which is super rude of them.
Super rude of them. But guys, we read this.
They made me go through the list of passwords. You know when they have a list of your passwords? It's just rude.
I do not have that list because all my passwords are always safe because Google knows how important I am.
That's what I mean. It's like Google made me go through, it didn't automatically pick up Twitter. It was search through it alphabetically and find Twitter. You peasants.
You peasant. Well, we picked up Wailing Blade, all 4 issues from my comic shop. And we actually accidentally bought 2 sets of them. 2 sets.
Purpose. We bought it on purpose.
So that means you guys have a chance to win all 4 issues of the Wailing Blade tonight. Well, we probably won't draw the winner tonight. But all you have to do is once this interview is over, is leave a comment and be subscribed. If you have to do those 2 things, then we'll probably draw the winner to today's Wednesday. So on Friday night's Comics and Beer.
Next Friday. We'll give people a week and 3 days. Calm down, Bruce.
Wow. I guess I am just overexcited and she is underexcited and underenthusiastic.
I'm not under-enthused. I just know people are busy.
Oh, they're busy?
The holiday
Too busy for Bruce and Stephanie? I don't think so. People are always ready for our content right now all the time. Guys. All the time. And I'm excited. I'm always excited because it's comic books. Comic books are the best medium out there, period. Period. Do you agree?
No.
No, she never agrees with me.
They're good. I mean, read them. Be a part of it. Join the Kool-Aid group, but read other things too.
I need my whiteboard. Negative comment number 1.
I'm just not going to lie to you. You're welcome.
Negative comment number 2. All right, guys, let's bring on the creators of The Wailing Blade. Who should we bring on first? Because there's 2 of them on 2 different cameras in 2 different places.
I feel like logically it's writer than artist.
Okay. I like that. Let's do that. First, we're going to bring on Rich Douek. Rich, what is going on?
What's up, guys? How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday night live stream for Comics and
Cheers.
Yes, cheers.
Cheersing you. Is that like a Miller Lite?
There's a Miller High Life.
Some beer.
Fancy Miller Lite.
Yeah, I like cheap beer and expensive whiskey. That's how I roll.
I like it.
Well, how is your Wednesday going so far?
It's going pretty good. Like we were talking about before the show. It's not like there's anything important going on right now, but no, it was good. I actually spent most of the day reading comics. I got out to my comics shop, picked up a bunch of stuff. So any day I'm spending reading stuff is a good one. So there we go.
Sounds like a good day. And today was nice out. Was it nice out by you? You're in New Jersey, so you still have nice weather.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. Like I think Monday was cold, but the rest of the week has been really beautiful.
Yeah, it's been really nice.
I just want to give a shout out to my friend Rod. He's shouting me out in the chat. I was trying to type there, but I don't think I can. But hey, buddy, how's it going?
Rod is here. He's been pumping up your Sea of Sorrows hardcore.
Yeah, Rod's awesome, man. I've done his show a couple of times and always have a great time. So
Rod is the man. He found me early on when I only had 50 subscribers. So Rod will always be big in my books, our books. Yep. He's a really, really good dude. But I don't.
He's really funny.
He is. He's a really funny dude. There is another guy backstage. He's waiting. Oh, he just walked away from his camera. I guess he doesn't want to be on the show. He was late.
He's offended that he brought me on first, I think. So it is. Joe has to get top billing, or he gets really.
That makes sense. Why he was late. He's like a diva.
Yeah.
He's like, if I'm not first, I'm last.
All right, guys, let's bring on Joe Mulvey, the artist of the Wailing Blade.
I now know why this is the Bruce and Stephanie podcast. It's the B and S podcast.
Wow.
Oh my
stands-
god! Do you
Yes.
know that Bruce tried to like change our logo, and he had B ampersand like S B and S Comics. I saw it. I was like, Bruce, bullshit comics. That's what you're making. He didn't see it. If I didn't catch it, guys, we'd be the
know why?
bullshit
'Cause-
comic show.
Because you look at Bruce and he just has the face of a sweet angel, and then he has this negative person just pushing him down. I'm not going to say who. You know,
Not negative. I'm realistic, Joe. I'm from New York. Bruce is a baby from New Hampshire.
You hear that? I said,
that changes everything. Okay.
I'm from New York. I'm going to do my New York accent now. I'm going to get you.
I'm right, like Joe Pesci.
I do. First of all, as someone who sounds like Joe Pesci, but I do now notice that could be the sweetness of Bruce is the New Hampshire.
He
'Cause
is
New
New
York-
New Hampshire.
New York should have ripped that out of you a long time ago. But good for
He
you
hasn't
for
been
holding
here
on
long
to it.
enough.
I will never let them take away my sweet, sweet baby New Hampshireness.
I'm drinking.
It's weird.
I'm drinking tonight Great South Bay Blonde Ale.
Very nice.
I
Very
like
nice.
it. I like it.
Okay.
I went too hard before the show and drank a bunch of vodka, so now I can't drink now, or I won't be able to pick it up
I
for
feel
work
like-
tomorrow.
I'm just gonna say this right now. Considering we also all live in New York, I feel like we should be really good friends. Like, I feel,
Obviously.
yeah. David Andrew was right. He's like, you've got to go on that show. That is a show for you. And I'm like, okay.
He was correct. We will be weird and loud.
Yes.
All right, guys. So, I think to start this, I think what we should do, since we don't know you guys very well, we actually just meeting you now when we met Joe literally a minute and 30 seconds before the live stream
Because
started.
he was late, in case you guys forgot.
What we should
Yeah.
do is kind of do like, speed dating kind of information. Like drop that information that you would give a speed dating but comic date to us. Whatever information you want to divulge of yourself, plus like a little comic knowledge. Just like
Well, do you want of us personally or of Rich and I's? Like,
Both.
Really
Well, no,
how
we'll
we
get-
know each other?
Do both.
well, I think
Okay.
personally, and then we'll bring it together. We'll have them like sit next to each other. And
First
then
make
and they
people
date themselves.
uncomfortable.
They date each other.
And then bring it back to comics. And they're like,
Okay, so Rich and I literally for I think 3 or 4 convention seasons would like be under a trench coat together, and we would like sometimes he'd be on top, sometimes I'd be on top, and it's just because you're scrounging early on to get into a convention and not pay for 2 passes because it's very expensive. But no, Rich, you go first. You have a more storied past than I do.
Yeah, so my name is Rich Douek. I'm a writer. I've been writing comics like for about 10 years. In the start, I was like self-publishing, but in like 2016, I published Gutter Magic, which is my first series. That went pretty well. And after that, we did Wailing Blade, and I've also have another series called Road of Bones that I do with Alex Cormack. That's a horror title. We got the sequel to that coming out in a couple of weeks called Sea of Sorrows. And I've also done a little bit of work on TMNT. I got to do an issue of TMNT Universe a couple of years ago and a few backup stories, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's basically me, like my comics bio. Outside of comics, I work in advertising, do a bunch of I write. I do writing for that too. I write but that's like mostly writing like commercials and like Facebook ads and stuff like that. I'd much rather be writing comics full time, but yeah, it takes a little
They don't
while.
pay as well.
Yeah. So, Joe, what's your story?
But hold on. Wait.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
Yeah.
You're from New Jersey, right? Or
Well, no,
not
no.
from?
I'm from New York. Grew up in Flushing, then lived in Forest Hills for a while, and then Brooklyn, And then, like a lot of people in Brooklyn, when they start families, I move to New Jersey.
It's true. It's very, very true.
It's like it's weird. It's like half the people I've met in my town moved here for Jersey when their kids were about to start school. So I'm just like a basic bitch like that, I
guess. and what are you drinking tonight? I get my Blue Point toasted.
I'm drinking Miller High Life. It's not fancy, but it is the champagne of beers. So,
it's delicious.
Happy New Year.
I love it. Yeah.
All right, Joe. Now we're ready for you.
Okay, what I'm going to tell you is nothing, because I prefer to remain a mystery. Is my name even Joe Mulvey? No one knows. No one knows. What I want to say is how bad a communicator Rich and I are. We were touring for Wailing Blade, and on a train, like an Amtrak together somewhere, and we realized that we went to the same college at the same time, and we were in the same department.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's really funny.
We might have even had the same class together. We're not 100% sure.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. I didn't show up for a lot of them.
Well, just talking about the same people. It's like, oh, did you know this professor? Yeah, I had him. Yeah. So we're. Oh,
Susan Einhorn, if you're listening, couldn't you take your words back now? We'll never amount to nothing. You didn't know shit. You didn't know anything.
Oh, speaking of David, we gotta say hi to Dave Andrew, man. What's up, buddy?
Is he in there? I love
he's in the chat. He said, "Yo, Rich and Joe." So we gotta say,
hey. David is pretty cool. I will allow that love.
And Joe Donahue.
He's fantastic.
Joe Donahue too. What's up, buddy?
It's a magical first name. Magical.
Joe.
Joe's
Average Joe. Cup of Joe.
Well, we don't even know if your name is Joe, so why is it magical? Why do you care?
Maybe that's why I picked it. Maybe because I'm a unicorn amongst men. Why do you have to bring that up?
Yeah.
Why did you point that out?
Joe's not lying. You've never met someone like Joe Mulvey. I guarantee it.
Everyone will always have a good story.
This is going to change your life. Like,
I'm ready to be changed tonight.
For the better. For the better.
Once COVID is done, we'll all get together somewhere. Obviously not in New Jersey because we want to have a good time. But we're going to go somewhere, maybe a nice outdoor place in Long Island, or we'll go back to your old stomping grounds, Rich, in Brooklyn. And because every business interaction Rich and I have ever had includes Rich giving me alcohol, and then all of a sudden I draw something for him. That's normally how it works.
I mean, it sounds like a way to your heart.
Yeah.
I mean, I have alcohol, and I would like things drawn for me. So
I never go out with Joe without a contract in my pocket. And
Yeah.
Get him a few beers in, take it out. I'm like, sign this. He's like, what is this? The check? I'm like, yeah.
It's a check. Yes.
All right, guys. Oh, actually, so Joe, where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Queens, New York.
All right.
What part of Queens?
Ridgewood,
Nice.
like Middle Village, right on the Brooklyn border.
Mm-hmm.
Still live here. If you know Ridgewood, if you don't, I swear to God, one day if it happens to work out, I swear to God that Ridgewood is Gotham City, and even like the TV show that was just made, Gotham, it was all filmed in Ridgewood, New York. Not all, I shouldn't say that, but a lot of it was filmed in Ridgewood, New York, because it has like that old Gothic, neighborhood style feel.
It's covered in graffiti, and there's a lot of crime.
Yeah. I mean, I could pretty much take up the entire hour of show and the craziness I've seen in the last week alone. Like a person
graveyard.
Yeah, I live by a cemetery. A woman literally laid down in a pouring rain, just laid down in dirt because she was all so hopped up on something the other day. And I'm sitting over her going like, man, that's not even ergonomic. It's just a pile of dirt, So yes, it's great. And you have at least a 50% chance of seeing a testicle anytime between the hours of 9 a.m.
Who doesn't love a good testicle?
But just one, not both.
Just one, not both. You got to pay for both. You don't get two for nothing.
First one's free. Second one's going to cost you.
What are you drinking?
Oh, I am drinking the delicious South Bay Blonde Ale.
Great South Bay's in Long Island Brewery.
Yeah, well, I knew you guys. I didn't know where in Long Island, but I knew you were from Long Island.
We're not from South Shore, Suffolk. We're from South Shore, Nassau.
She's from Suffolk.
Which way do you wear your hat? Is it like to the side like this? Or is it like, how does the hat go?
I wear like a flat brim on the top of my head, just like not even resting.
But she likes to wear 3 of them on like this. Like,
Yes, I leave the tags and all the stickers on them.
As an
She likes to
artist, I'm just gonna sit here with like a piece of paper and be like, yes, drawing while the show's on.
All right. So before we get into Wailing Blade itself, I want to get a little background on you guys. So how long have you guys been actually reading comics? That's very interesting to me because I didn't start till like late in life. I got started reading like when I was like in my early 20s. So like when did you guys start reading comics, if you guys even read comics? Maybe you guys don't even fucking care about comics. You just read them because it's like, I want to get some monies.
Oh yeah.
Then they're not right. Just say, no. Yeah. That's like saying I got into dentistry for the meth. Things just don't connect.
I started reading comics. I mean, like I read them a lot as a kid. It was kind of it was the thing when I was a kid that you could get them in a lot of like corner stores and stuff like that. So I would like run down to like 7-Eleven and get like a big Slurpee and a bunch of comics to read. Then there was a comic store in Flushing that I used to go to. It was called Mike's Comic Hut. Awesome place. It's not there anymore, but I just hang out there with my friends, pick up comics and stuff. And then I kind of like I fell out of it for a while. Like I guess like probably like towards the end of high school, like college, like that age, I got way more into beer as opposed to comics.
I'm sure beer and girls were more important than comic books.
But then like I always kind of liked them, but then I kind of rediscovered them like in my 20s. I would but it was sort of, I was discovering more like the kind of mature stuff, like the Vertigo stuff and Neil Gaiman, Sandman and stuff like that, and that really kind of like reading that stuff. That's what kind of made me like a lifelong like fan, I guess.
Nice.
Joe, your turn.
Joe.
Okay, so when I was a kid, I drove into like a corner bodega, and I was going in to get gum, and then I just saw like the spinner rack of comics, and I saw this image of and this is at the time, unfortunately, no way, like these were like old comics that this guy had not gotten rid of in the store in quite a while, and it was this issue of What If from Marvel. And it was, what if the X-Men had lost Inferno?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, first of all, I don't know what any of those words mean, but there was this picture of a Ron Lim drawn Wolverine, and he was like all like charred on his face, and it looked like he looked like a demon, and he had claws, and something just clicked in my kid's head, and I was like, what is that? I need to get that. And comic was like maybe 125 or 150, whatever it was. I bought it. And then I like read it like crazy. Like I wish I could still. I got to go try to find that comic so I can have the tactile experience again. Mm-hmm. And then I remember like coming home and like telling my father, being like, I got to go to a comic shop. I got to go to a comic shop, and I'm talking to like friends at school. And then all of a sudden, it was like this whole world opened up because like where I went to school, the 6th grade teacher owned a comic book shop. And
what?
Yeah. Oh, that was a whole nother thing. And then like. Then like there was all these other kids that read them that I had no idea about, and like kids in my own grade, and I was like, do you know what these things are? And then they're like, oh dude, you got to check this out and that, and I was like, what? And like it was really cool. And then I mean when it really changed to me from being like something I was interested in to being like sycophantic was like when the first time I ever saw something by Todd McFarlane. Mm-hmm. It was like visual quicksand, and I was like, what? Like even the way he just draws fleshy, gooey faces that are getting thrown mm-hmm. through walls. I'm like, yes, I need to do this. And I got obsessed with like just drawing and drawing and drawing. Like, I would even like, come on, we're going out to play ball. We're going out to play this. I'm like, nope, just sitting here with a bag of chips, and I'm going to draw and draw and draw because I got to do this. Yeah.
Amazing.
And then I was hooked.
Nice.
It makes sense because you're really good at drawing.
Yes.
It's very nice of you to say. I hate every single thing I do 2 to 3 seconds after I'm done with it, but I will sell the product as if it's the greatest thing in the history of the world. That I ever done.
You can ask Bruce. Every video we shoot, I'm like, I hate it.
Joe and I argue about like we don't argue about anything except like Joe's perceived quality of his work. Like he's like, this is terrible. I rushed it, and I'm like, it looks amazing, and he's like, nah, it's crap. And
Yeah.
Throw it away. Don't tell anyone you saw it.
This book's gonna be delayed 4 months. I can't do it. Doing it all over again.
Burn it.
Burn it. What was the first comic you guys remember? Joe, you just said this. What the first time you remember reading? But Rich, do you remember what the first book you ever read was?
Can I guess? Is it multiple choice? I'm going to start off My Little Pony.
Friendship is magic.
Secondly, I'm going to say I think it was Underground, but I think it was Golden Girls Erotica. And then the third one, for some reason, I'm going to say was a Scott Baio bio comic. Any of those? Just say if it's right.
You have to say which one. Just say yes or no.
It was Scott Baio and My Little
Knew it. Okay.
X-rated, Charles.
Scott Baio as a
Charles in
brony.
charge of My Little Pony. It was like a bondage thing. It was weird, but it was good.
Those layouts are amazing.
Let's see. I mean, like the very first comic I remember buying, I think it was a G.I. Joe comic, like the old Marvel series by Larry Hama. And that was because I was into the toys, and I was like, oh, look at that, this is cool. The one that like sticks out in my mind though, as like an early comic that really kind of that I love is it's an issue. It was like a 2-part story with Spider-Man, and it's Spider-Man fighting Firelord. I forget the exact issue number, but it was like definitely like an 80s comic. It was just like it's one of those comics that like I'll tell you like a little bit of the story, and it was like it's completely ridiculous. Firelord comes to Earth because he's heard that pizza is really good. He gets to the pizza restaurant at 10 a.m. in the morning when the ovens aren't hot. So he uses his fire powers to melt the oven. They call the cops. A big thing starts. This is happening in New York. So Spider-Man comes. He's got the black costume, and he's got to fight Firelord, the Herald of Galactus, because he couldn't get pizza. And I don't know. It's like you laugh about it, but like I don't know. Reading this as a kid, it was just like, oh yeah, this all makes sense. This is pretty cool.
I would totally burn a place down if I couldn't get my pizza.
I mean, I can see. I don't know how old you were when you read that, but our 11-year-old would totally love that.
Yeah, and it actually turned into a really epic fight because the whole point of the story was that like Spider-Man's like a street level hero, and he's fighting like this guy who's like can like annihilate like the entire city with a nuclear blast if he wanted to. So it's actually like a really good story. Right? If you can like read it on Marvel Unlimited or something, I recommend checking it out. Spider-Man versus Firelord. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I was thinking about that one today when I was thinking about like older comics that really got me into it.
Well, Batman Popster in chat has let us know that it's ASM 269. So you were also thinking about 69 while you were reading that comic.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually, what's like ASM 269? And I thought it was like ASMR where they talk really fast. So I was like, what?
Punches Firelord. Ouch.
and then Rich eats pizza and ASMR.
Really close to the camera.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so next question for you guys. When did you guys start doing this seriously? Like start writing and start drawing comics? I know we mentioned, you started writing about 10 years ago. I don't know if you mentioned that, Rich, before we started the live stream or after, but when did you start taking the idea of putting what you love, like try putting it out there for other people to read and like publish?
Rich, you go first because I'm going to get another beer.
All right. Yeah, like for me, I was one of these. I've always really enjoyed like writing because I've always been into reading and like science fiction and fantasy and stuff like that. That was what I used to love to read. And I always was trying to like write a novel or something. Like I had it in my head that this was something I wanted to do. But it turns out writing a novel is really hard, especially when you're a teenager. So, so for like the longest time, I would start and I would, just sort of like lose momentum at some point and like, it would peter out. And comics was always something I liked, but I didn't really, I don't know, like just something in my head didn't make the connection like, oh, you like writing, you can write comics, until I was a little bit older. And then even when I did make the connection and thought about it was something I want to do, I had no idea how to get started. So I basically took a class in comic scripting and got a short story done. It was a 5-page story for Gutter Magic that I wound up later on expanding into the series. But basically, like when I came out of the class, I had like a 5-page script. Class was at this place called comicsexperience.com. If Andy, the guy who runs it, if I didn't mention that, he'd probably be pretty upset with me next time I see him. So it's a great place. So highly recommend it if it's something you want to do. But anyway, the course project was like a 5-page script. So I had it and I was like, well, like I spent the money on the course. I had the script. Let me try to get it illustrated. So I found an artist online, this guy named Jason Baruti, super talented. Sent him the script, he illustrated it, and then like the second the art came into my inbox, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm doing this. Like, I'm putting this out there. Like this is amazing. Like I couldn't believe it. There was just something about seeing the words I put down kind of brought to life by an artist. It was just an amazing feeling. Persists to this day when I get art in for my scripts. Not so much Joe's art, but from the other. It's just like it's an amazing feeling. So I think like kind of putting that out there and seeing that people were digging that, and the more I did, the more encouragement I got from friends and other people making comics. That's just kind of what kept me going. And,
is it because they love the name Gutter Magic? Because I love the name Gutter Magic.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was really clever, and then I found out that there's at least 10 rain gutter cleaning companies across the country.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, like it's a great name. I'm gonna buy the website, and it was like, no, it's a rain gutter cleaning company, and like, but didn't let that stop me. None of them were like trademarked as a comic name, so I was like, all right, we could still do it. And now when you just Google Gutter Magic, I'm on the first page. So
that's good. Usually you have to pay for that, so
yeah.
Gutter Magic. So, I like that. What is Gutter Magic about? I gotta know.
Okay, so Gutter Magic is about a guy who he lives in an like an alternate history version in New York, where wizards came out of the woodwork to fight World War II, and this is like kind of like the modern day of that world. So it's almost like a Harry Potter type world, but magic is not hidden; it's out in the open. The wizards kind of rule the society and things like that. So the main character, this guy Cinder, he is the member of a powerful wizarding family, but he can't cast magic at all. Like he just doesn't have the talent for it. So he's spent his life pursuing what in that world they call gutter magic, which is like sort of like tricks and not like proper magic, all in the pursuit of becoming a wizard. And gutter magic is basically the story of how he finally gets there.
That actually sounds really amazing.
Well, we are going to be picking that up. We just found it on Amazon. It's Prime View order before we get off this interview. But Rich, thank you so much. Oh, one quick question before I go on to Joe. When was that? Like, how old were you when you took that class online?
I think it was like my early 30s, I think. Late 20s, early 30s, something around there.
There's still time, guys. I could be a comic book.
The reason why I asked that is only because I think a lot of people don't realize you can do a lot of things no matter how old you are. It's not like you have to be some 18-year-old kid that's going to college to take these classes, to be a writer, to do this thing.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't like a class like going to like a college class or it was an online class. Like, it's comicsexperience.com and it's basically it was kind of like Zoom meetings or whatever before there were Zoom meetings. You go on every day. There's homework. There's a message board that you can post your script in progress and people critique it. So it was great.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Joe, time to take the stage. When did you start taking drawing comics seriously as, I don't want to say a profession because I'm sure you have something other.
Let me tell you. So when I was in 7th grade, I started reading comics and I started drawing. And then I don't know if it was because I don't want to say I wasn't a troubled youth. I was a rambunctious or impetuous kid. One of the teachers was like, we're going to do a comic book project. So I went to a Catholic school. God bless them, they tried. And the project was you have to draw your favorite saint, draw an 8-page comic. And when I heard this, I was like, oh my God. So then I drew, I did, I think, St. Jude. For people who don't know the Catholic religion, St. Jude is the patron saint of hopeless cases. So he was very near and dear to me as a child growing up. I remember my family constantly saying, Jesus Christ, pray to St. Jude for that boy. And then I did it and I turned it in early. Almost like I wanted my first editor because so I brought it into my teacher and I was like, oh, here's this. And other kids saw me doing it and other kids were like, we can't draw anything like that. We'll pay you to do my story. I'll pay you. How much is it to do the story? And I was like, $10, $20. And I think out of that class, I think I drew 4 or 5 of the comics. And one of them, someone picked, saints have some. Are we allowed to curse? Or I don't want to.
Yeah, no, you curse.
Okay, so this is pretty fucked up shit in some people, and I was drawing people being, beheaded and Joan of Arc and all this stuff, and I was like, and at the end of it, I think I had $120, and I was like, what? You can make a living? You can make money drawing? And that was and that those all went to video games and stuff like that. But I think at that point I was like, oh, there's a way to monetize this to a degree. And then I grew up, went to college and all that stuff. But when it came to coming back to doing comics, I have this I call it, I don't want to say the ghost of because he's not dead. I have this thing of Todd McFarlane in my head as a creator growing up because right around the time that I guess I started really wanting to draw, around, it was the image boom, and Todd McFarlane was on I would go to my aunt's house in Long Island, and we would go there, and they'd be watching the home shopping channel or whatever and there's Todd McFarlane sitting at a desk selling comic book boxes on the home shopping channel. Comics were everywhere, and he always seemed to be the guy that was front and center, didn't mind selling it. They made videos that were how to make comics this way. And all I know is he kept drilling into people for lack of a better term, go to these big companies, make your name. But in the end, they don't care about you. So it's what you create, what you make, what you do. So obviously with all the stuff I've ever done, I've always had this idea of I'd rather own what I do than not own a part of it. So then I think around 2011, 2012, I did a book called Scam, which was Ocean's 11 meets the X-Men.
Oh, cool.
And then from that time on, I really got into really doing books and all that other stuff.
Oh, awesome. Well, I wanted to start Wailing Blade conversation at 9:30, so I'm 5 minutes late. But Joe, show your beer because I know you were showing it off earlier.
Yes, I did. I'm sorry. This is Vine Stefan, a Hefeweiss.
It's one of the best beers, period. I
See,
love
I knew we were
wine
gonna get along very well.
I love wine Stefano. The only thing that shit gets me drunk so fast.
Well, I'm only gonna drink maybe 4 or 5. I'm gonna try to keep it tight.
I bought a 6-pack just for tonight. So
I like it. I like it. Now I feel terrible that I'm not drinking.
You can go make a vodka drink real fast. I'm right back.
I already had a really large vodka drink, and I have to wake up for work at 5 o'clock. So
Listen to me. There's no reason that on a drinking show you should drink. You shouldn't feel forced into it by peer pressure or the want to have a good time or even the enjoyment of friends.
guys, I don't need a reason. I drink all the time, but I did have a pretty big vodka drink before this.
You talk because your face is really red.
I like
But so Wailing Blade is a 4-issue series. But the reason why we're talking is because you guys kicked off a Kickstarter, I believe, 2 weeks ago.
Sounds right.
yeah.
About 2 weeks ago. So let's talk. How about you guys give us the elevator pitch for Wailing Blade for anyone who doesn't know what Wailing Blade is? Let's talk about the Kickstarter. Let's talk about future Wailing Blade, if there is, because the story kind of ends at this point where I was like, wait, what? There has to be more. But I don't know if there is because we didn't.
Before Rich gives the sales pitch of the series, I just have to say this, that at the very end of the trade, there is the after credit scene to the entire 4 issues you've seen. So when you get to the end of it, you're gonna see these pages that our colorist Chris Sotomayor just turned in the other day, and I mean they are like, I got so excited for the pages it made me forget that I drew them. That's the excitement I had for these pages, and they look so good. And it's like really like the world that Rich and I are trying to build. Chris brings it completely to life, and like if you like this story and then you're like, yeah, I want some more, those last couple pages are gonna make you like, as the artist, I'm sitting there going, I want the next book right now. Like I was like, yes, I'm in. So I mean, there is more to come.
So, all right, so you ruined the last segment first, but let's go in. Elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Elevator pitch for Wailing Blade, because I'm really interested to see how you guys are going to sell this book.
Okay, so Wailing Blade is it's a high action story about a dark future. In this future, mankind has gone to the stars, but that was thousands of years ago, and the Empire has fallen. And what we're in now is like a future dark age where it's a feudal state, and the only people, the people who have the most power are the ones who control the kind of the last bits of technology that are still working from this previous golden age. And a lot of them are weapons, and the most powerful one is this weapon called the Wailing Blade, because every time it gets swung around, it emits this really high-pitched, crazy wail. And it's wielded by this executioner called the Head Taker, whose job is basically to kind of visit every town in the Empire and just behead all the criminals there. So when the story starts, we've got our main character, this guy named Tyken. He's a bandit, and they're in the middle of this raid where they're trying to steal another piece of technology for their village. But his father winds up getting captured and sentenced to death at the hands of the Head Taker and the Wailing Blade. So Tyken's got to figure out a way to save his father from the executioner's blade. But things get complicated because even though he figures out a way to take down the Head Taker, there's another executioner called the Bone Breaker who wants to kill the father because he's a fairly famous bandit king, and you get a little bit of prestige when you execute a famous criminal. So the story kind of builds to the showdown between the Head Taker and the Bone Breaker, Wailing Blade versus the Rack Hammer, which is her weapon. And yeah, that's basically in a nutshell. It's sort of like, it's really inspired by a lot of kind of classic Dying Earth science fiction that I used to be really into. Authors like Jack Vance and Michael Moorcock, stuff like that, along with a little bit of sensibility from stuff like Masters of the Universe, Thunder the Barbarian, and we got Joe, who's amazing at drawing action and fight scenes to just like bring it all to life. So
what do you think, Joe? Did you do a good job? Is that how you would sell Wailing Blade?
I took a phone call halfway through the pitch, but yeah, what I'll say is, like Rich has such a good, like I'll be honest with you, and Rich will even admit it. I don't like fantasy. I mean, now we're gonna get into the dark side of Joe Mulvey. I only saw the original Star Wars like a few years ago. I'm not a big
over your ears, children. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
But the truth of it is like the story he told was or wanted to tell in that world was kind of really cool. And then, you know, we kind of got together and came up with a consistent like visual to it. And I never even liked all that kind of, even the stuff he used as reference. And then like I got into drawing it and really saw the really just something I'd never done before. Like, you know, like if you would have told me I could draw Daredevil or Batman for the rest of my life, I would have been like, yeah, that's cool. I'll do that. Or Spider-Man, you know, like, and then to do this thing where it like really stretches you in crazy ways and you're drawing like, I'm not even gonna lie. I look at that sword and I don't know what the hell I was thinking when I like, I don't know how I got to that. I don't know, you know, but it looks cool. Like if I saw it, I'd be like, I want to swing that thing around.
And you guys built
actually did
Wailing Blade swing around.
We did.
Yeah. We like this book. Like, you know, I've written a lot of books. Joe's drawn a lot of books, but there's just something special about this one for both of us that like we really kind of went all out in terms of like you know, kind of bringing it to life. Like I have a Wailing Blade tattoo, like an actual tattoo. Like we were giving out for the first Kickstarter we did for issue 1, we were giving out like temporary tattoos, and I was like, hey, if we hit X now, I'll get a real tattoo. And you know, it's on my arm right here. Hold on.
It's commitment to the craft, guys.
Yeah. See? Wait. There we go.
There it is. We see the horns.
There
it is.
There it is. So, you know, another thing we did was we actually got a Wailing Blade made from like a prop maker, like somebody who does props for cosplayers at conventions. Now, the funny thing about that is
there's many funny things. Don't narrow it down.
There's a lot of funny things, but the funniest thing about it to me is that like we were talking to the guy and we were like, well, you know, what we want to do is we want to kind of use it to be able to take pictures with fans at conventions, bring it to comic stores and stuff. So it's going to get a lot of use. So like, you know, we were hoping that it could just be like kind of like a little sturdy because, you know, it's not just, it's going to get handled a lot. So he's like, yeah, he's like, you know, I can use like wood and stuff. Now, when he said I could use wood, what I thought was he was going to use wood to kind of reinforce the foam. This thing comes, it's solid wood.
Yeah.
The whole thing?
Solid.
It's like
The whole thing.
$100.
It's
Solid.
Carrying this thing around, it was like a burden. It was like Joe, you got to take it. I can't take it to another store.
Yeah.
Crazy. I had to buy a gigantic army duffel bag just to like carry the thing.
How much did it weigh?
It's cool. Don't get me wrong, but it was huge and wood, and it was heavy, and like you could like, if anything, you really got to feel for that this comic was a fantasy because I cannot imagine swinging this thing around. It was like
the best was the risk we took at every convention or signing when someone's like, "Can I hold it?" and we'd bring it, and then they go to pick it up and they think for a second, "Oh, okay, it's a little heavy," and then once you get it up, because of the was it hilt of the sword, it's so awkward to hold. And the greatest thing ever was Sean Kirkham, who works for Skybound, who's good friends with David Andre and all that stuff, and just all around one of the greatest comic guys in the history. So Sean is Big Clutch on Twitter. He is like 7 feet tall. I'm pretty sure he's Andre's illegitimate child, but I don't know. He's huge. He is the only person to hold the Wailing Blade with one hand and lift it up. So like 2 years ago, New York Comic Con, he lifts it up and he's holding it like above his head. And all I see is all the sea of people in New York Comic Con. And I'm like, and I look at Rich and I'm like, someone's going to die. Because that thing's going to come down. And I'm like, it's going to be amazing PR. But at the same time, probably not necessary. But true to Sean's word, he held it. And he was like, this is nothing.
Yeah.
This is not like there was like people crawling up his arm to play with. Like,
yeah.
I do want to say that James Galagos, our wonderful wrench, did post the link for your Kickstarter in chat. So everyone should be going over and emptying out their 401k at this moment.
You guys are very close to your goal. You're $7,380 away from your goal.
Guys, who doesn't have $7,000 in their 401k? What else are you going to do with it?
Here's the thing. I'm going to announce 2 things on your show exclusively. Okay? And Rich, I apologize if you don't want me to let the cat out of the bag, but it's out of the bag. Yeah. So number 1, this comic, obviously we have no backing on this, but this is comic Bitcoin. You want to buy it now before you have no option. Like, it's going to be okay. It's a nice hardcover I can get now for $40, $50, or, 15,000 in maybe 3 to 4 weeks. Like, get ahead of that curve. Number 2.
It's a smart advice. Smart
Get
advice.
your spec game tight.
Yeah, I was gonna wear a tie, so I look like super businessy. But I have like a 19-inch neck, and it didn't happen.
They don't make ties that way.
No. No.
Yeah. All right. What's number 2, Joe?
Number 2 is we have this thing in the back of the trade. So while you're getting the trade collection of the actual comic, you're also getting the things called another like add-on to the book, which is going to be called the Tales of the Wailing Blade, which is set with Legends of the Wailing Blade. Thank you. As you can see, I read all my emails, and the onus of it is that this world is completely segmented, and there's just rumors of these weapons. There's rumors of these executioners walking the earth and enforcing the tyrant's rule. So it's only natural that there would be rumors and stories. So we had a lot of great creators that got brought in that wanted to do their own take on a story within Wailing Blade. And friend of the show, David Andre, is doing one. Now, let me just say this. I'm not going to say if there's a tie-in. I'm not going to speculate.
I'm not going to say it's not.
I'm not going to speculate that David has a book called Resonant from Vault Comics that is extremely popular, and rightfully so. And isn't it weird that in that book, there's a sound that goes on in the universe that all of a sudden makes people crazy. And then in this other universe, this Wailing Blade universe that David Andre is writing a story in the trade, there's a sword that has a sound that does. I'm not saying it ties together, but I'm also not saying it doesn't. Okay? You put it together. Bitcoin, resonant tie-in, possibly. It's your choice if you miss it. That's all I'm saying.
Now I want it. I want like 5 of them, and I'll stab anyone who tries to stand in my way.
You know what? If we go past the 30,000, I think we're going to try to make the physical cover of the book just all sharp blade, so that you can do that with the actual.
So I'm going to make my own shanks. I've been practicing.
You literally have to bleed to open it up every time you open the book.
Yeah,
it would be worth it. That's how you know commitment.
We're going to call it the Brisk package. So,
oh my god.
Yeah, well, because it has a quote by Ed Brisson on the front. I don't know what you guys are. Like,
it's true.
Mine.
I do want to give my own opinion, since my opinion is the most important one.
It's true.
Because Bruce will lie to your faces to make you
gosh.
feel better. So I go in reading all these comics with very low expectations, which I know is surprising to hear because I'm not negative
comment number 3
at all.
Oh, no. Let me just say something. I love to start with low expectations. Continue.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to read this. I'll read
We're doing this interview with these 2 guys.
this
I don't know.
interview.
Don't care about them, but I'm going to read it.
Guys, I was so into this comic book. By like the third issue, I'm like, I gotta read more. The fourth issue, this like spin that they do, this twist, and I was like, oh my god! I'm like punching people next to me. I'm like, you guys know what just happened? Nobody knows because someone else is reading it but me, but still, I'll punch people for no reason. You guys need to
I love it. Yeah.
I do want to say my point on the book, I loved it. I loved it as well. But I felt like this was supposed to be longer. Was this always supposed to be 4 issues? Was it planned to be more, but you guys cut it back to fit a certain budget?
Where's my 5th issue?
Because I felt like it just could have been told in like 6 issues or something. I felt
like an ongoing
places for more. And I was just curious.
It does have to do with the fact that making comics is, not a cheap endeavor, and you kind of have to plan things out and be economical, especially on a new series. It's one thing if like you're the type of creator who's been like doing stuff for like Marvel and DC and like you have like image books that are successful and stuff, but like this for us is a book that is we're still fairly early in our careers as far as like the comics world. Like we've been doing it for a while, but it's not was not like a sure thing by any means.
Sure.
What we really needed to do is kind of like we have like a much longer story that we want to tell, and we still want to tell it, but what we needed to do is sort of find a good stopping point where we could get the story we wanted out, and in a way that we knew that we could finish it, that we knew we could get it out there, and then just sort of like build on that. And that's part of why we're doing the Kickstarter now, because hopefully this will get funded, more people will read it, and then when we are able to go back to the world, we'll be able to keep going.
Well, like you said, I think this world is definitely, this is just like the teeniest, tiniest little portion of what this world is. Yeah. And it's like so big and could be so interesting. And like, there could be so many different weapons from around the world. And who the fuck is the tyrant? I want to see who this guy is, what he's doing, how he is oppressing.
What is that, like a parrot?
I'm just saying there might be something you'll be very excited to look upon in the last page of the trade. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
And like that symbol that I had on that I have tattooed, branded onto my arm forever. If you go on my Twitter account, you'll know that that's the head taker symbol, and then the Bonebreaker has a symbol, and then we've revealed 2 other symbols for 2 new executioners that you'll actually see in that post, quote unquote post credit scene that we're talking about. So we definitely, this series is kind of like, it is a small slice of the world, and it, if I was a millionaire, it would be much longer. It would be. I'm not, so we kind of have to just do it in manageable chunks. But there's a whole lot of story that Joe and I still want to tell, and hopefully we'll be able to.
No, I mean, we hope as well, because I mean we really, really enjoyed this book, and it definitely leaves you wanting so much more. It's like you're so desperate for more, and there's not. But you're saying that there will be.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So we're super, super excited. We are getting close to the 10 o'clock hour. Do you guys have any projects outside of Wailing Blade that you guys are working on that you guys want to talk about? Is there anything going on in your careers that, comic book wise, you guys want to talk about right now? Because this is the best time to talk about that kind of stuff.
I'm going to talk about Rich's new book, Sea of Sorrows. Rich is an absolute horrific human being. He's not a good person whatsoever. However, his writing is the best thing he does. And Sea of Sorrows, he did a book last year with Alex Cormack, another irreputable person, but they did a book called Road of Bones for IDW, and Road of Bones is honestly, it's a masterpiece. It's really a exquisite book that is it's one of those horror books that kind of keep you up at night, like give you a little chill that you're like, that would freak me the hell out. And the same team that did Road of Bones is doing Sea of Sorrows, and Sea of Sorrows is coming out later this month. Is that right?
Yeah, it's either the 17th or the 18th, whatever that week is, in like 2 weeks. It's going to be out, and we're really excited because I think it's like, we're very proud of Road of Bones, and we love it, and like Sea of Sorrows is kind of like me and Alex taking everything we loved about Road of Bones and trying to build on it and go, like make it even more crazy and more horrific. So I think it's also a book that it was supposed to come out in May, but thanks to COVID and stuff, it's been delayed. So, we're like dying for people to see it. Like we can't wait until it's out there because it's like it's finally happening after so much time. But it's super cool. It's set on an ocean it's a salvage diving crew post World War I that is out there diving to try to find gold from a sunken German U-boat, and they encounter a sea siren, a monster that just starts picking off the crew, and it's a great story, and I think it's honestly some of the best stuff that I've ever done, some of the best stuff Alex has done. So we're just really excited for people to see it.
And the third issue of this book is going to blow minds.
Blow minds. That's why the third issue has a Joe Mulvey variant cover. Because
does it?
We could have given Joe the first issue, but it's like number 3. That's the one.
Yeah. Well, he said he goes.
No.
Rick said to me, I remember, he's like,
go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead. No, I have a delay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm very curious. Do you need to have read Road of Bones to enjoy Sea of Sorrows?
No, like they're related, kind of in the same way that like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz are related. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like they're. It's not like a sequel. It's more like a spiritual successor or something like that. They're like, it's the kind of thing where they go together in terms of like the theme and things like and the vibe, but it's a totally new story. Another thing. It's like if you think of like almost like a Tales from the Dark Side or American Horror Story or something like that, where it's like we got our kind of our way of doing horror, and we're telling a completely new story in that style. So totally standalone, but I think if you like one, you're definitely going to like the other.
Amazing.
And you should just read Road of Bones anyway. Buy that, and then buy Sea of Sorrows, and then Wailing Blade.
Buy everything.
Buy everything
that has my name or Joe's name on it.
Well, now Sea of Sorrows is definitely going to be in the pull list.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. Chuck, if you're listening, make sure you put that on my pull list. Thank you very much.
You got 2 weeks.
Joe, let's talk a little bit about Happy Hill, though, because I don't want to like be all about me. Joe's working on his own horror comedy kind of book, right? Called Happy Hill. And like I got a chance to read the script a little bit early and see the art, and I love it. I think it's some of Joe's best work, and I'm Joe gives me a lot of crap because Road of Bones was mostly empty backgrounds because it took place in Siberia, and he's like, take it easy on Alex with backgrounds, you're making me like that. But I take a look at Happy Hill and I'm like, Joe, you did this all to yourself.
Oh no, I did. I don't like. I even said that. I'm like, I did like double page spreads with architecture. I'm like,
yeah, it's like
I must hate myself.
Like he's drawing like a lodge that just like so intricate, and I'm just like,
well, right. Dude, when I designed this lodge, I was like, it'd be really cool, like just deer antler chandeliers, and then you're like, chandeliers plural, so it's not even one. There's just like an entire row of deer antler chandeliers. And I even said, like, to myself as I'm writing this, I was like, if a writer gave me this, I'd be like, go screw yourself. Like, there's no way I would do that. But when it's me, I'm like, draw it, jerk. So yeah.
So what is this book, Joe?
So Happy Hill is pretty much like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory meets The Shining.
Oh my god!
It's this super fun vacation spot that people go to. That they go there with the guarantee of you can find your happiness or your money back. And a child goes missing. 2 undercover FBI agents that are disgraced get sent in as their last resort. Either find the kid or find what's going on, or you're done. And like I said, they were disgraced for a reason. So the legality of things doesn't exactly work out, but there is trouble afoot, and it is pretty much a story I've had in my head for years. The tagline for the book is going to be, if happiness is there, how far are you willing to go to get it? So hopefully by the end of reading this book, you'll have a good discussion to say, would you or wouldn't you?
Would you rather?
Yes. Would you rather? Would you rather? Yes.
And just to tie it all back to the Kickstarter, I think I'm not sure what the exact number is, but I know that we have a goal that if we hit a certain amount of backers, people will get like a little preview of Happy Hill, because it's not going to be out until next year. But yeah, like you get a little.
So you're writing and drawing Happy Hill, Joe?
Yes.
Joe doesn't need me to be great.
No. Rich is up. Rich is a much better writer than I am.
Out of his kindness, he works with me, but Joe's a one man gang. He can do it all.
No, that's not true at all. Because Rich will read my script and be like, I don't understand this. That's not even a word. You can't put that in there.
You can't just make up words, Joe.
Yeah, he helps me be a better writer. So yes.
Amazing. Well, we are at the 10 o'clock hour. So this is your guys' time to tell everyone anything that you guys want to know. You can say social media accounts, where to follow you, what you're doing, what teams, sports teams to follow. This is, I don't know.
Sing the farewell song from Sound of Music.
Whatever you guys
I haven't seen that movie yet, so no spoilers. No spoilers. Don't want to know what that is. I'm going to say this. Buy everything that Rich Douek does, because he's eventually going to get arrested for the other shit he does. So let him have some money put aside to, help his wife out with bail, or just taking care of the kids, or moving into Witsec. Who knows what's going to happen?
Getting out of New Jersey. That's our Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to know how Jersey I have like an Amazon shipment coming tomorrow of some track pants. I'm moving into the Sopranos phase of being in Jersey.
Well, I assume because you can't get frosted tips, you'll just frost your
I could
frost
this maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think I feel the same way about Joe. I think you should get Happy Hill. Everything that Joe's going to be on. Joe's somebody that I could see myself doing comics with until we're 2 old men who could barely write and read.
Yeah.
So barely write or draw. So we gotta. I love Joe. Love working with him. So get everything he does. Social media wise, you can find me Douek on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, pretty much anywhere you see Douek. There's better than even chance it's me. There's not a lot of Doueks out there. There are a few, but not a ton. And our Doueks are even rarer. But yeah, I'm most active on Twitter. Like if you want to, if there was like one, you had to follow me only in one place, I would say that's probably the best place. You can also go to my website, rdouek.com. I have a newsletter you could sign up for. Kind of lazy about putting it out, so it doesn't come out like weekly or monthly like many of my more diligent peers, but I do send it out when I do have stuff to talk about. So
awesome.
And Joe, I know
I was just gonna say my Twitter and my Tumblr was hacked 4 times to sell Ray-Ban sunglasses in the last week. So
I got
you out, Joe.
really
they know your audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. the greatest is I'm like at my kid's school and a parent walks by and just looks at me and goes, Ray-Ban? Really? Ray-Ban? And I'm like, what? I'm like, again? God damn it.
I swear this isn't me.
Yeah, but like, and the best thing is like, I guess I don't know how the hack went because it didn't work because we don't even know who the president is. So screw you, Ray-Ban. You're hacked nothing. If you're for Russia or for China, whoever you're working for. But I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Joe Mulv, JoeMulv. Joe Mulvey, which is my name, is some guy who's a fisherman somewhere in the West, and he will not give me those handles. So if you like fish and you want to see a trout or a salmon, follow the real Joe Mulv. Otherwise, just check me out for some comic stuff and nonsense. Maybe a little bit of sports. I do yell a lot about sports, but beyond that, I'll just be promoting Sea of Sorrows and lackluster backgrounds and work. But whatever, that's
No,
it.
just because you're talking to Long Islanders, don't be ashamed of being a Ranger fan.
Listen to me. I am never ashamed of being a Rangers fan, ever. I would rather die than be an Islanders fan.
Well, we're
Seems
not
extreme.
we're not hockey fans, so
Yeah, we don't have a team, so
We don't have a
Okay, well,
We'll
gonna,
just
that's
trust
great.
you.
We're gonna change that. Rich and I go to Ranger games, so we sit there, we talk story, we have maybe 7 to 10 to 12, possibly 14 beers, and then we really get to the bottom.
Wait, are you buying like $20 beers from the Ranger game, or are you like sneaking them in a trench coat?
First of all, I've done both, but I appreciate you giving me the option. They're $11 and they're 22 ounces. I agree with you, ridiculous, but yeah.
You pre-game, you post-game. It's a small window.
There is no better live sport than hockey. It's like, especially you guys have kids, right?
yeah.
2 hours, you're in, you're out. It's very quick.
It's a lot of fun.
All right, we'll think about it.
think about
Think about it.
I stretch those 2 hours into 5, sometimes 9, sometimes I don't come home. But either way, you can have a good story.
Everyone does their own thing. I do want to say that Batman Popster wanted to tell us something, but he can't because he's not a wrench. Bruce, that's your job.
Okay, well I can fix that.
Last signing off information everybody needs to know. Go to the Kickstarter in the chat. James, if you're still here, post it again. Throw your 401k earnings at this, guys. Do it. It's an investment in your future, as Joe's already told you. So you'll probably be making money more than your 401k.
I can't believe I gave that away. I can't. You guys are the Oprah podcast. You got things out of me I never thought I'd say.
I figured. I saw you tearing up a little bit. I was like, we got him, guys. Big fish. Reel it in.
So Popster, you are a wrench now. But yeah, guys, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys leave a comment on the video if you guys want to win all 4 issues of Wailing Blade. We are going to try to send this to both Rich and Joe to get them both to sign and then send it to your lovely faces, because who doesn't want autographed issues? And besides, non-autographed. You want autographs. So we're going to try to...
we're going to try. We're going to do it. It's whether or not they're going to do it. We'll do our part.
We're all in the tri-state area, so hopefully
we'll drive it over.
We'll be able to work it out.
We got to take like the ferry to New Jersey, right? They don't have cars.
No, Rich loves to take the LIRR. He'll come over by me, and we'll head right out.
Yeah, perfect, because we are like down the block from the train station. You watch any of our videos, you hear the train drive by our house.
Oh my God.
5 times through videos.
We have to get together anyway, so Rich and I will just hop on the LIRR, go out there, sign them.
So you should come here for Comics and Beer on Friday. That's when we get to be really loud and ridiculous.
You know what? I will take you on that offer in a heartbeat.
Come here, shout at people. I get drunk, I get opinionated, and then I yell at people.
I find that very hard to believe, Stephanie. I find that very hard to believe.
All right, guys, we're going to end the show here. But stick around, you two. We're going to drop you to the backstage. We're going to say goodbye to everyone in chat, and then we want to chat with you guys a little bit. But thank you guys so much for coming on the show tonight. It was absolutely amazing. Wailing Blade is a fantastic comic book. If you guys haven't picked it up, my comic shop definitely has it. Just go and find it. Otherwise, if not, back to Kickstarter, get that trade paperback. Find out what those end pages are, what the hell is going
No,
on.
I
Wailing
want
Blade.
it.
I don't fucking know. We
Bruce,
haven't
I
backed
want
it yet because guess what? I guess we're going on after this, backing that, getting caught up. But guys, thank you guys so much. It really, really was a treat for us, and we thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
guys.
us. We had a great time.
And thank you, James, for wrenching the wrenches as he always does.
We have a new wrench. Maybe Batman Imposter will step up his game.
I doubt it. I don't think you could beat James.
James
Sorry.
is the man. I'm not going
James is
to.
the man.
James, you are the best wrench in the game, hands down. But guys, that was an awesome interview with Rich and Joe, the creators of the Wailing Blade. And if you guys didn't hear me just say it, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys leave a comment on this video. You have a chance of winning one or all 4 issues of this. And Joe and Rich did agree to sign these. So we're going to send it to one. They'll send it to the other. And the last person will send it to you. You're welcome.
David Andrews says he doesn't know what to do with his wrench. I don't yell at people. Take away
David,
people's privileges.
You should constantly be posting information about yourself. Hello, I'm David Andrew. Here's my Instagram. Hello, I'm David Andrew. Here's my Twitter. Follow me here. Oh, I write this book called Resonant. Find it here.
Look at where these copies are being sold for. Trade paperback, blah, 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 blah.
Come on, sell yourself, David. That's why we gave it to you.
We gave you a wrench. You could be a whore. Why aren't you doing that?
But guys, yeah, the giveaway will be Stephanie. I was going to do it this Friday, but Stephanie was like, no, give people the time.
It's 2 days away, not even.
So next Friday on Comics and Beer, we will pull the winner for these 4 issues of the Wailing Blade. You're welcome. Babe, is there anything else we want to say?
No. Guys, you should just be reading Wailing Blade. It snuck up on me. I was like, whatever, I'll read it because I have to. I told Bruce, like, this is my homework. I have to read it. And I read it.
She actually said, this is my homework.
I did, begrudgingly. And then I read it and I was like, oh my God, why didn't you buy this for me months ago?
Because I didn't know about it. And then David Andrew was like, Joe. And then Joe was like, Rich. And I was like, okay, I'm getting the book. And then we're going to do the interview. And it was great. It was absolutely fantastic. I love this book. Love Rich and Joe. I love my amazing girlfriend, Stephanie, more than Rich and Joe combined.
Sorry, guys. He's taken.
Sorry. But guys, everyone in chat, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I saw David Andrew. I saw Batman Imposter. I saw James Gallegos. I saw Ignacio. I saw Cisco C, Geeky Mama Bear, Dana One. There's a lot of great people in chat tonight. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in.
Johnny Fitz.
But it was an awesome show.
It was.
We're going to turn off. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be probably either dropping our Holland blog video tomorrow or Friday. Depends on how much editing I'm going to do.
People are talking about your dilemma too. That's how we're ending the show, is people telling you to buy less fucking books. Can you guys talk to Bruce for a minute? Because he posted that video about his dilemma. He doesn't know what to do. Everybody commented.
No, James,
they were like,
read them then.
Slow your roll.
Thanks, James.
Stop buying so many fucking books. And Bruce, right over his head, he's like, they didn't say that. People were like, buy more books. He came home with the same amount of books today.
Less. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.